What's up, guys? NinjaNick333 here, back with another live commentary type video thing. Um, we have my friend Alex on the left playing Metagross. No, not Metagross. What's it called? Duskmane. Magnezone. Yeah, that's it. And we have my friend James on the right. He's going to be playing the same Zoroark Garbolist that I made top 32, 18th place with at Philly Regionals. He also played it during that tournament. Unfortunately, he had a really bad run because he had a whole lot of bad luck. So list is fire. Luck, not so much. Um, yeah, so I believe he's playing like one or two cards off from my list. For this tournament, I did switch the Dedenne out for the Sudowoodo, so I think ours might be the exact same 60 now. But we'll see. Because I know he was already playing the Sudowoodo, which is effectively a better card in the deck than the Dedenne. But if you wanna improve your Ray matchup, you want to play the Dedenne. It didn't end up mattering for me. I hit Ray round 1 and still beat it because I got super lucky. So the fact that I didn't play the Dene didn't really matter. So yeah, ZoroGarb on the right, Duskmane Magnezone on the left. I know Alex plays one or two of the Heatran to hard counter the Buzzgarb Shrine decks. It does 130 because it's good. The Magnezone itself also does 130 if you attack with it with Zap Cannon, and then it can't attack the next turn. So this deck is actually pretty darn good against Buzzgarb Shrine. And that is the reason he played it for Philly Regionals. He got top 128, I believe, at like 5-3-1 or something. So super congrats to him. RIP James Bay. You should have done better, but didn't. So anyway, James goes first. Starts Zora. Benches the Tapu Lele for the Wonder Tag ability, searching his deck for a supporter card to put it into his hand. So the ideal turn 1 supporter in this situation, if he already has a draw supporter like Cynthia in his hand, he's going to want to go for Fan Club and just set up. If that's not the way his hand is set up, then he wants to go for something like Lily if he has a bunch of Nest Balls. And if there just really is just a bunch of hot trash in his hand, he wants to go for Cynthia. That's generally my thought process with the deck so far. Maybe there's better ways to think about it, but that's the way I do it. And I'm pretty sure he plays along the same lines. So he searched for some sort of draw supporter that I didn't get to really see because he didn't really flash it for the camera. And then he attaches Psychic Energy to the Lele and passes. If you got Cynthia, you play it, right? Is that just me? I don't know. He probably has a Zoroark in hand, and he doesn't want to lose it. But I think I would still try to get more benched Pokemon anyway, just because you want to Riot Speeding for 120 as often as you can. And it looks like Alex has an equally odd start. He just attaches a DCE to his Duskmane, and he plays Steven's Resolve. So normally you want a couple Magnemite in play before you play the Steven's Resolve on turn 1, just to make sure, like, because then that way you can get Rare Candy Magnezone off the Steven. But I think he just didn't have any basic Pokemon, so he probably got 1 or 2 Magnemites off of it. Maybe a Rare Candy, maybe a Magnezone for like the next turn. We'll see, I don't know. And it looks like James goes DCE, Choice Band, Cynthia. So, I don't know. It didn't seem... So his top deck was probably the Trubbish, because he would have benched it the previous turn if he already had it. And then he did DC Choice Band. So that doesn't really seem like some stuff I would have wanted to hold on turn 1. I think I just would have risked the Cynthia like just playing that and then hoping to get like nest balls and stuff just to get set up on turn 1, making sure that I can get not one but multiple Zoroarks out into play on turn 2. And as you can see off of his Cynthia, he gets an Ultra Ball where he has to discard, a Rescue Stretcher. You don't really want to discard Rescue Stretcher, you kind of want to hold that as long as possible, but I mean, sometimes you just have a bad hand and you got to do it. You play 2, so it's okay to discard 1. And here comes the Zoroark. Zoroark's hitting 90 right now, I believe. Yeah, 90. The way I think about it right now is that Ultra Ball could have been a second Lele. If he played the Cynthia turn 1, he could have Ultra Balled Lele again. Maybe played Lily or a second Cynthia, because we play 3 Cynthia. However, I don't really like that either. That doesn't really seem very good. I think just it's like the signature James Fay luck is what's going on right now. He's just like all pooped out, and oh my god, looks like Alex searched 3 basic Pokemon off the Steven. So he got 2 Magnemite and the Cutiefly into play. It looks like there was a slight miscalculation on damage. They're fixing that. Riot Speeding was 490, not 120. So there we go. So Alex puts the 3 basic Pokemon into play. He gets 2 Magnemite because if James on the next turn goes Guzma, Knockout, Magnemite, Alex still has the potential to Rare Candy Magnezone on his next turn. So you always want to make sure you have a minimum of 2 of the basic for your stage 2 into play. The turn before you try to evolve into them. So like if you're playing Guardy, you want to make sure you have 2 Ralts. If you're playing Magnezone, you want to make sure you have 2 Magnemite, etc., etc. 2 Grubbin, if you're playing Vickerville. 2 Beldum, if you're playing Metagross. He benches the Heatran, the thing that does 130, that has 130. Another good thing is the Cutiefly. The reason you play Cutiefly is because it evolves into a Rabombi stage 1 that says Professor's Letter every turn. So the ability allows you to search your deck for 2 basic energy cards, which are going to obviously be metal every time. But the Cutiefly itself, the basic, also has free retreat, which is kind of huge. So he has a free retreat pivot, kind of like Coco is for the ZoroGarb deck. So that's really cool that he has the ability to do that. And as you can see, Alex just attached the metal, Claw Slashed or whatever for 60, whatever it's called, Rusty Claw, I don't know. Claw something or other for 60. So it's looking a little pitiful for him, but his board is actually somewhat set up, so that's good for him. As opposed to James, who's playing Zoroark deck, so he should have a full bench at this point, but he just can't draw Pokemon because the Pokemon card game hates him and does not want to perform. His 60 cards do not want to perform in a way that will allow him to win the game. That's just kind of what always happens. So sorry, James, for the bad match, I guess. But he does get another, does get a Zoro down, off of the Cynthia, I believe, or the trade or whatever, and he now has enough. They're just double checking the damage potential, and the Riotous Beating will be able to knock out the Duskmane on this turn, which is cool. That brings 2 prizes to James' hand to potentially use, because he's not drawing very well. When you're not drawing very well and you have a chance to get prizes, always take it, because then you can potentially get something really good off your prizes and swing the game back into your favor, essentially. So he's now getting back in. If Alex misses the Rare Candy Magnezone this turn, he's pretty screwed. As you can see, he puts the Rabombi into play, plays a Cutiefly, and then Steven's Resolves again. So he plays 2 Steven's Resolves, which is nice. I like playing two copies of one of supporters like that. I was very much a fan of the 2 Bridget when most people were playing 1. Just you want to make sure you never prize it, and sometimes you do get the ability to play 2. And he puts up 1 Magnemite, so even if the Magnemite dies, the other Magnemite is guaranteed becoming a Magnezone on the next turn. He has a Cutiefly in play as a pivot, so he can potentially bench a Dusk main and then retreat into it after the knockout. So he can put a new Pokemon in play and make it active, is what the free retreat does. James puts down a Coco with the DCE. Coco is really good in this matchup because it can Flying Flip to essentially take that extra 10 damage off of the Dusk main. Dusk main having 190 HP is really annoying because you max out at 180 with the Riotous Beating Wombo combo of Devoured Field, Choice Band Kukui. So that allows you to hit the 200 number, 190 without the Devoured Field. So, like in this sort of a matchup, I would actually just, I would be trading away Devoured Fields if, like, other cards in my hand are stronger at that moment, even though I could replace that, like, the Stadium with it. You really want to save them to replace the Stadium, but, I mean, like, as you saw earlier, like, he had to Ultra Ball when his hand was low a couple times, so, like, Devoured Field would be a good card to discard in that sort of scenario. James Fay also puts down the Pseudo-Wudo, and that's actually kind of huge right now. If Cutiefly did not have free retreat, Alex would be in a horrible position. But this just limits Alex's options. He'll only be able to bench 1 Pokemon this turn instead of a potential 2. He could have potentially set up 2 Dusk mains. Now he can only set up 1. He does have the Rare Candy Magnezone. James Fay's on 3 prizes now, so he's actually essentially gotten halfway to his win condition. But Alex here, he puts up the Cutiefly because that's free retreat, as I said. He's going to use the Rabombi's ability to search for 2 Metal Energies. Rabombi is so much better than Lady. I don't want to see anybody ever playing a Lady in any deck ever, because it's bad. It's a supporter. Yes, it searches for 4 energy, but you have to play in combination with Energy Recycler. I'd rather play Fisherman to just reuse energy I already used in this deck. Lady might be better in something like, I don't know, like a Rayquaza Magnezone deck, right? I guess. I don't know. No, not even still. No, like, not like, just like Fisherman's just better. Right? Yeah, no, I guess, like, if you're gonna play Lady in something, I would play it in Rayquaza Magnezone, where you're playing the Lightning Magnezone, just because you want to keep your energy in play, and you're probably playing Wish Batons, so you're not going to have energy in your discard pile, whereas a deck like this is going to be discarding its energy every turn. So once you get 4 energy in your discard, you could just keep using things like Fisherman and Macronet to recycle those energies, whereas Lady will just pull the energies out of your deck, and then they're gone. So I'd rather just search 2. As you can see, Macronet comes down on top of the Rabombi search. I think it's called like Honey Gathering or something. So he loads up this Dusk main, and he's going to take a one-shot, well, potential one-shot knockout if he didn't already chip damage it, I guess. It looks like Alex is going to go for the Sun's Eclipse GX. I do not agree with that at all. I think that he still has the Rabombi in play, so he can search for 2 energy. Sorry if my phone's making noise. I forgot to turn the sound off, but like, I would rather, instead of Sun's Eclipse, like, I realize you can Sun's Eclipse, but James is at 3 prizes, right? So even if you take the knockout discarding the energy, you go down to 4 prizes, and James is still up by 1. So, like, he's still winning by 1 prize. So you can Sun's Eclipse the next turn, only having to attach 2 more energy. And I think Alex did have 1 more metal energy in hand that he neglected to attach. I would have attached the extra metal energy, and then used the big attack, whatever it's called, to one-shot, discarding the 3 energy. He would still have 2 energy on it. And then the next turn, he could hard attach 1 metal that he can search off the Rabambi, and then Sun's Eclipse. And I think that would have probably just straight up won him the game. But instead he chose not to do that. Now James does a really weird thing where he goes and he decides to energy drive. Now I kind of like it, I kind of don't. I'd rather flying flip, especially if he had a choice band in his hand, but if he had the choice band in his hand, he would have put it on the Lele. He sees that the Duskmane has a whole bunch of energy on it, so he just energy drives while he has the chance to get the damage off. I would have rather just Coco flipped and have him take the 1 prize and then tie it at 3 prizes each. And then going back into James's turn, he could then potentially get a Riotous Speeding knockout with the Trispan Devoured Field Kukui type of thing. But instead he decides to energy drive, which isn't entirely wrong. But now Alex had the potential to one-shot the Lele, which he does, because it's not that hard in a Magnezone deck. You play a lot of ways to recycle your energy, so he did that. Then it goes back into James's turn. Now it looked like Alex actually whiffed a whole turn, and James ended up being able to flying flip after the Lele was killed. Or no, I'm sorry. No, that's fine. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, yeah, so literally all Alex did was just attach energies and then one-shot a Lele. Then it went into James's turn. He flying flipped because that's all he had. He's bricking. You see Guzma. That Zoro is dead. James now has no way to get Zoroark into play, and Alex is down to 1 prize. The game is pretty much over. I actually want to go back for a second. Because I think I just saw... Okay, there is 4 energy. I got confused for a second, because I only saw the 3. See how the 1 energy gets hidden? So, he does have 4 energy on that Magnezone, so that is a legal attack. I got kind of scared for a second, because I don't want big misplays like that on my games. But no, he's just got 1 energy that's accidentally hidden, yeah, he hits for 130, knocks out that Zora. That's the best knockout he could have possibly taken. He doesn't really care that his bench is at 4 right now, because of the Cutie Fly. Something that's really funny that James could actually do right now is if he had that choice band earlier with the Lele when he energy drived, he could flying flip for the win. So had he had choice band that turn, let's see, because he's at 2, 1, 6. Yeah, so the Duskmane would be dead. Even if he just had 1 more energy on the Lele, like, and then he could flying flip right now. The Cutie Fly only has 40 HP. Or 30, maybe. It has 30 or 40 HP. So if he flying flips now, he can knock out the Cutie Fly. But unfortunately, the Duskmane will live with 10. So that's what I said again earlier about the Duskmane being really beefy and annoying at 190. 190 is a hard match number for these Zoroark decks to hit without the Coco spread early. And the whole Wombo combo. And James just, he doesn't draw well because he just gets unlucky. So he ends up not being able to draw the Wombo combo. He doesn't even draw Zoroarks. So he just has basically just a pretty bad game. He's trying his best to think of something right now. He's at 3 prizes, right? And Alex is at 1. So even if he does manage to take a knockout on this Magnezone, Alex can just like hard attach for a few turns. And then so like what has to happen right now, right? Is he needs a Garb in play, and he needs to use that Garb to knock out the Magnezone. But there's only one item in Alex's discard pile, the one rare candy, and that's it. Now, how is there only one item in Alex's discard pile? God, beats me. I don't really understand how. I'd like to go and double check. I mean, like, he's got to have played an Ultra Ball, right? Or no? Like, does he just not play Ultra Balls? So so like Lele is his best attacker in this current situation. So he Ultra Balls for the Lele, grabs a draw supporter or something. So like the only thing he could do right now is if he has a DC in his hand, he Ultra Balls for that Lele, grabs Guzma with the Lele, Guzma's up the Dusk main, knocks it out with Energy Drive, and then the next turn, Flying Flips for the game. He can just retreat and Flying Flip and knock out the Cutie Fly on the bench. Unfortunately, James does not have the DCE, because God forbid you have a game where you don't whip DCE with Zoroark. I'm so sorry, James. It's not fair. I'm happy for Alex that he's winning this game, but I'm sad for James because he's not. He stomp offs a rare candy into the discard, so there's 2 items now. Woo. Like, that's his only option now. So now he just has to hope that Alex doesn't get Mount Coronet. And 1 more energy. Because Mount Coronet will get him 2. He needs 4 to use the attack. So he needs to attach 3 energy from hand this turn. I think he could have... Yeah, no. Because he got Guzma'd up, right? Yeah. So it's really the only thing is he needs 3 energy. So he most likely needs Mount Coronet. He's looking through his deck with the Rabombi Search to make sure that the Mount Coronets are in there and that there's no more energy that he can thin out, I guess. No. Because I think I remember the ending of this game. So he's trying to thin his hand out for a Lily to maximize his chances of drawing the Mount Coronet. So we'll see a little issue come up with that because of it. But yeah, so here he goes. He Ultra Balls. He's going to try to thin that deck as best he can. Thin his hand out so he can Lily for the maximum 6. So he Ultra Balls. That's 3 items in his discard pile. And then here comes the Nest Ball. He can't Nest Ball because he has 4 bench. James points that out. And then Alex is like, oh yes, I have to fail that. And then I say, no, you can't even play the card. And he's like, okay. So he puts it back in his hand. Like, it wasn't intentional. I kind of forgot the pseudo-auto was in play, but kind of still thought that he could play it to no effect. But you can't play a card that has no effect. You can fail a card, but you can't play a card that would not have any effect at all, no matter what. Because he can't put the Pokemon on his bench because of the pseudo-auto. So he has to hold on to that thing and only Lily for 5, but he still gets Mount Coronet, and there's the game. So Alex wins that match. Nice and easy matchup, unfortunately, for James. So shout out to you guys for being bros and being on my YouTube channel, I guess. This was at Professor Bond's Emporium in Amsterdam, New York. Drove a whole like hour and 15 minutes up there. These guys need their cut back, so I went to support my buds and ended up having a good time. Chinese buffet afterward is always pretty good too. So anyways, guys, that is that match. That's the end of round 1 on this league challenge that happened on September 22nd. I will be back next round with round 2. Round 2, I heard that there was a Metagross mirror, so I decided to put that up. because Metagross is spicy, and I like it. And a mirror is something I've never seen before in my life with Metagross, so it's gonna be cool. I hope. We'll see. I didn't get to watch the games live, so I'm just like I'm seeing it right afterwards, and we're gonna, all right, we're gonna have a good time with that. I'll see you guys then.